Turning to business now, and sales at luxury firm Lvmh slowed in the first quarter of this year when they raked in $22 billion. Rising prices meant shoppers who aspire to own luxury labels are holding back on splashing out thousands of dollars on items like clothes, handbags and jewellery. The world's largest luxury group includes brands such as Louis Vuitton, Dior, Bulgari, Tiffany & Co and Moet Chandon. With me in the studio is Rotis Adiri, Arise business anchor. Rotis, I'm sure you will correct me if I'm wrong here, but they have taken in $22 billion. I don't think we need to feel too sorry for this company here. Sales are slowing, but they're not in trouble, right?
No, they're not. I mean, if you compare LVMH to their competitors, Hermes, we'll get Hermes earnings next week. Kering, I know we're going to talk about the Gucci warning in a moment. They got 75 brands or more. So from, Dom Perignon, all the other brands that they have, Moet and everything else, you can spread out your struggles across the different brands. So no, they're not in trouble, but there is a notable slowdown as far as the luxury goods sector is concerned. But they are, because of the fact that they've got such a wide portfolio of products, they essentially are doing better than some of their competitors.
And I mentioned that some shoppers are holding back. It seems, to me anyway, the world as a whole is suffering from some sort of cost of living crisis. The luxury sector just isn't immune to that, is it?
It's not. If you look at their divisions, some of the subsectors of their revenue breakdown, you'll see that the worst hit, I think, was wines and spirits, which fell about 12%. Yeah, so although fashion and luxury goods, which is their most important because it's got the actual brand, was up 2%. But wines and spirits in particular fell 12%, double-digit losses, because they said people were buying less champagne. So they called it a post-COVID normalization, if you will. And then of course you've got watches and jewelry falling by 2%. Perfume and cosmetics did well, but overall, yeah, you've got higher inflation, which is causing folks to not purchase as much as they do. But then a number of other divisions, particularly in the US, didn't do quite as well in terms of growth. Most of their growth came from Asia, but correct. It's got higher inflation. You've got higher interest rates that have and also the fact that people are just holding onto their purse strings a lot tighter than before. So you're less likely to splash out on these higher luxury goods than you would before.
And that is also true of shoppers in China, because demand there is a bit of a deciding factor. Chinese shoppers are not spending as much as they used to, particularly while travelling. They account for a lot of the sales. Why are they not spending? What's happened? Yeah,
so Chinese buyers are a lot pickier than other particular buyers, and also they seem to be spending more money on experiences now rather than splashing out money on a new handbag or a new coat. So they're a lot more picky, and they are a lot more focused on less about hardware, which is why you saw their fashion and luxury goods only growing by about 2% year on year, and I think that's even the lowest growth that we've seen in that segment since 2016 if you back out COVID. But essentially, and in fact, I think they had a map where they looked at the geographical contributions to revenue. Japan is really where they saw a lot of growth coming in. But then part of that is Chinese people traveling there. But still, to your question though, they are spending a lot more money on experiences as opposed to picking up more hardware, luxury hardware.
And Lvmh is the first luxury goods maker to report their quarterly earnings, but there is concern about the rest of the sector. Tell me what's happening at Gucci.
Yeah, so with Gucci, the parent company is Kering. Kering put out a profit warning about a month ago, saying that particularly sales of Gucci would fall about 20% year on year. Now there is a revamp going on over at Kering, and particularly at Gucci. They've hired a new CEO who came in January of last year. They also have a new creative director that came in July. So there's a revamp going on. They put out an initial warning to the market saying that, listen, give us some time, we're revamping things. And then they put out this next warning after that. So, and the thing is this, as opposed to LVMH that's got these 75 plus brands, you've still, across across the board for carrying. It's not just Gucci. Gucci is their flagship, but Yves Saint Laurent, I think Alexander McQueen, across the board, you are seeing struggles for all those particular brands. So it's the profit warning really for Gucci. They're trying to, bring out a new line. It looks like it's going to take the turnaround that is taking place at the company is going to take a lot longer than they expected. And so the markets, the stock fell about 14% when the profit warning was put out there. So they've put it out there, they've let the market know. The turnaround, the turnaround process is going to take a lot longer.
So while the luxury sector struggles, we're hearing things are going a lot better over at Adidas. What's been happening? Yeah, so
Adidas just released their preliminary first quarter earnings, which, operating profit I think was about 336 million, so a 460% jump, and it made them give a more robust operating profit outlook, an OPO, which is 700 million euros. Initially it was 500 million. Funny enough, it's Yeezy. So remember that they cut ties with Kanye West in October of 2022 because of anti-Semitism and so on and so forth. So they've been getting rid of their Yeezy inventory. And it looks like for this full year 2024, they should be getting rid of the last of it. So for the first quarter, it turns out that they made sales of about 150 to 160 million euros based on they've called it a Yeezy dump, getting rid of the Yeezy inventory. So they did better than they expected. And as a result of that, they're like, okay, look, it looks like the full year is going to be a lot better than we expected. And so their stock price went up based on that. So we'll see how they do going forward after they've gotten rid of that Yeezy inventory. But it's been a good story for Adidas so far.
Rotis, you've managed to change my mind.
I did.
I started this by saying I don't feel sorry for LVMH. I do now, and I have decided to selflessly buy some champaign to help them along.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah. So we get some Dom Perignon.
We need to boost those sales.
That's all we've got time for. We're off.
We're going to leave and get some Dom Perignon, exactly. Sounds good.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Rod.